welcome to Can TV 21 Hotline Let's Talk Etiquette. I enjoy each and every Wednesday saying that word, let's talk etiquette. Yes, yes, yes. And welcome again to a wonderful show we have planned for you with a great topic. But first, before I get to that, I'd like to introduce my very, very special co-host, Madam Georgia Salmon, etiquette maven extraordinary, and welcome back to another great show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I thoroughly enjoy being here. I love the subject, and I'm especially pleased with the topic on today. So thanks for having me.
Yes. Well, as you know, we've been going down this road about the decline that we are witnessing every day in this society. You know, I never could imagine that our political forces would be at war with each other.
Yes.
The government is in war with each other. I can't believe it. But, you know, when you think about the kind of civility that Barack Obama represented, and maybe he was the last president that would show some kind of civility, articulation, character, all of those wonderful traits and attributes that he had, that he brought to the presidency. We may never see another president, that statue, that kind of character. And so it's unfortunate that our government is at war with each other, but of course we are witnessing a decline across the entire social spectrum in this country. So we felt today we should continue to visit that subject.
Yes.
It's a subject that needs to be discussed, needs to be talked to, needs to bring people's consciousness up to a level that they understand exactly what's going on. And we here at Can TV, Channel 21, Let's Talk Etiquette is here to provide that for you. So please give us a call at 312-738-1060. Join in with us with this very, very special topic today. So I'm going to not waste any time and get right to it by putting it up here so you can see what the topic is for today. Would you, Madam, would you like to?
Yes. The etiquette to rational thinking. The etiquette to rational thinking versus irrational thinking and behavior.
Yes. There's a thing called irrational behavior and thinking. But rational simply means it's a concept that says that you're able to evaluate and articulate on a sensible level. Rational. What is rational? It has to come from some inner underlying philosophy or value system. What is rational in our society is based on etiquette. Okay, it's the system that provides us with a course of action, with the thought process that allows us to see what we should be doing and behave in such a way that's consistent with our value system in this society. So rational thinking emanates from that. What is rational? What is irrational thinking? So we felt that would be a great topic to start off this show with today, because there's so many examples of what happens when you take a society and you take them down a hill, a course of dumbing us down was one of the subjects we talked about quite a bit on our last season show. And the dumbing down also included etiquette. Dumb us down on all levels of social behavior, intellectual behavior, so that we aren't really competent enough to understand why we're doing what we're doing. So what is rational to one person today may be very irrational to another. And you encounter a lot of irrational behavior in some form in today's society. And so it's either a level of ignorance or it's a level of just don't care. And so we're in a situation where people don't care about each other like they once did. And they just aren't civil like we once were. And so I don't know, how do you see And what type of experiences have you had down that side of just ignorance? We may want to call it even ignorance.
Well, when you talk about irrational thinking and behavior, I think about all of the crime that's going on in our communities and our families. Very irrational.
Yes.
I mean, the behavior is the worst. When you see children with guns and children or youth killing children and families being tormented by all of the crime in our communities, it's more now than ever before.
It is really, really a situation that's totally out of control. So it's like the social scientists, design a system that will allow us to become more violent. Making guns available is one aspect of it, making it where everyone, to have a gun, why would you want to have a gun unless you're afraid for your personal safety? And so what are the kinds of people that's out here that would threaten you so that you feel you have a need for a weapon? It's that kind of insanity that we're witnessing today.
I don't think that there's a single answer. I think we need to look for many, many answers to the many, many problems and the many irrational behaviors that we are seeing in our homes and in our schools and in our communities. We're looking at a school system here in the city of Chicago that cannot come to an agreement to keep our school doors open.
That's true.
I mean, we're there getting ready to strike because the teachers are being overworked. They're having to not only teach but parent. There's
the students?
Yes. So when you talk about irrational and versus rational, my thing is, why can't the hierarchy of our communities, come together with rational conclusions to some of the problems that we're facing on a daily basis? Now, if the hierarchy can't come together, how on earth are we to expect for to be harmony and rational thinking within our communities, within the homes, amongst our youth, and amongst families? How? If at the presidential level, if that community cannot come together
We see it every day.
with rational solutions to the many problems that we are encountering in this country.
Yes. We see it today. I totally agree with you. And but we have a caller. Let's take this caller.
Yes.
Caller, you're on the air.
Good evening. I hope everyone having a good evening. I want to make my comment very brief and to the point. My daughter is now a Chicago police officer, and a lot of things I've been saying for years is starting to resonate in her head. Because when you look in society today, good behavior is not rewarded. It is not really no consequences. As a matter of fact, bad behavior is rewarded and is praised all the time. And we look around and see what's happening. I don't have to say too much. It's proven left to right.
It sounds like he has a point there. Thank you, caller, for that call. It sounds like he definitely has a point there because I guess if you want to get attention, you do some acting out and acting up, and you get some attention, as opposed to the traditional way of being civil, cordial, and polite, and being rewarded down that side. Now, at the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois, and we as Etiquette Mavens, we do praise, we do let students know we appreciate good behavior and good manners. So, it's not so much about them misbehaving, it's more about encouraging them to behave in a right way. So if they see the benefit of that, and certainly I'm one and you're one, and we promote, if a child does something or adult does something that's courteous, you thank them for it. They hold the door open for you. You thank them for it.
Yes.
So it's a positive side to great behavior, good manners. And I don't see no positiveness on the side of bad behavior. They think if people are now thinking that that's something to applaud, to praise bad behavior, then we are actually turned inside out and upside down, and we're on a decline to our demise as a society, where it'll become lawlessness will be the rule of the day. And once it gets to that level, then the society breaks down, and then you don't know what the consequences would be in a society like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying a whole society that's broken, that's breaking down. We're seeing it. We're
all
seeing
around
it
us.
in our government.
Yes.
We're in our national government, in
Yes.
our local governments, and it's not just in one area. I see this decline, and I see this irrational behavior all over.
I do too.
There's
We
not.
see it.
The news just gives a spectrum.
Yes.
World round,
Yes.
and it's pretty scary.
Yes. Yes, it is. It
Very-
is.
If we're trying to promote etiquette, behavior, manners, and morals, and the hierarchy of our country is in disarray and turmoil. How can we be effective?
They don't have etiquette.
How can we be effective in our mission?
Right.
And that's very disturbing to me.
It
And
is.
I don't want to sound like a downer. I don't want to sound like that we're a hopeless community of people, because I believe that if people come together
Yes.
and go back to some of the foundation and basics of our belief systems, then we can kind of restructure.
Restructured, right. Well, there was
And
a
get it
time.
right.
There was a time, of course, we looked to our political leaders for a high level of civility, and occasionally that word would, come up in a conversation among people who are pundits of the political system. But now that word is not even used anymore. Or etiquette, but mostly it was associated with civility. You're a political leader, you're supposed to exercise civility, but we don't see it today, and it's impacting the entire nation, because they're setting new standards that are really lower than where we should be as a great society.
Exactly.
And that's the unfortunate. So
And these are the leaders of the
these
country.
are the leaders.
These are the leaders of the country.
And so what do our young people see from that
Well,
behavior? You see,
They see that it's okay. It's okay to show irrational behavior.
yes,
It's okay.
Okay.
It's fine to
Yes.
do all
insult
of the,
each other.
to insult each other.
Right, to attack each other's
Yes.
character. All of those things that is not a good lesson for our young people. And I don't know what they think our young people are going to gain from that. I mean, in terms of their own sense of self and their ability to be a part of this society in a wholesome, decent, mannerable way with some good values. The values are being pushed aside entirely.
The values are
And-
pushed aside.
Yeah, and I don't know how we could recover from it when you're thinking about what's going to be required of the society to do that. We advocate start with the schools. Teach our young people good manners and morals. Teach them what etiquette really means and the value of it. And hopefully they will adopt that, and as time passes, we will move away from the road we're traveling now, because the road we're traveling now is down. And I don't see anything on the horizon that says we're going to somehow start back up
Yes.
that ladder. So, but we're encouraging each and every one of you all out there in our audience to think about this subject and see how important it is for us to reverse course. And it starts with you, it starts with me, it starts with the co-host here. We all are one community, and we can recover, but we have to reach out and save our young people, because they are the future. They are the future, and if they're acting out and misbehaving and doing insane things, and yes, I mean, parents should know what their young people are doing.
They should, absolutely.
or have some good sense of what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And for our young people to be riding around with guns in their cars, shooting and killing each other, it's unacceptable. Parents, it's either your son or your daughter or your cousin. Someone is in that car with a firearm. How did they get this firearm? Okay?
Very good question.
How did they get the firearm and the ammunition to go in the firearm? Is someone in your household careless? You allowed your firearm to be available to your teenage son?
I don't
You
think...
know what I mean? Or the drug man is selling them in the community, and you're not doing anything. You're too busy watching sports.
No. Too busy on the cell phones.
Too busy on the
Yeah.
on the computer,
Yes.
doing these other things, and you're not paying attention to what's going on in your household. So parents, you have to step up. Your elders in the community have to step up and get involved, because it's going to continue. And so we got a caller. Caller.
Yes, and good evening,
Hey, Steve.
everybody.
How are you, sir?
Listen, let's learn to teach 3 things every day a person should be able to say. First, good morning. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Just those 3 simple
Yes.
little words. Teach people to just say that 3 things a day. Make a better world. But listen, my voice is not good today. But let me get out there and hear your response. And thanks for taking the call.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate your call.
Yes.
But he's right on point with that, Good morning. It elevates your spirit when you speak to someone and you say, good morning. Okay? And when you do that and communicate that to another person, 9 times out of 10, they're going to respond in a positive way. They're going to give it back to you. Even the most, really alcoholic drunk on the street, if you speak to him, he 9 times out of 10, he will say, good morning. It may not be good for him. He has a hangover. But it's a wonderful way to promote good behavior. Positive behavior. So what do you think it also go with that?
Well,
Steve suggested.
Well, I think I think we've gotten away from that. I'm retired, so I don't get the opportunity to
Be out in public as much.
Well, in public, yes, but in settings where courtesies are really, really expected.
Yes.
If I go to the coffee shop, that of course I'll say good morning to the people that I'm passing by,
Yes.
or hello.
Yes.
But it's just who I am. It's
Yes.
the way that I've been raised.
Yes.
And it's what I promote with the etiquette education.
Yes.
But people are not as friendly as we used to be. And I see more attitudes, people with attitudes, and people who are not congenial like it was at one time. We're getting further and further away from the foundation of good manners, morals, and behavior. We have a caller. Let's take that call.
Caller, you're on the air.
Good evening again. First of all, I want to say, Steve, you are sounding much better and you're getting much more stronger in your voice. But what I want to say, I hope you go into school sometimes. And when you go into school sometimes, and like I said before, they don't reward good behavior. They don't even reward by acknowledging children that work hard and make the honor roll. And they don't even sometimes try to make examples of the good students in the school. And I'll give you a good example, right? Years ago, it didn't cost that much money. If you was a good student, you was like, especially in high school, you did something like work study, and you want to be like one of those good students. These days, being like one of the bad students, guess what? They more like the hero around the campus, and left and right. They don't want to reward good behavior at all. They acknowledge bad behavior so much it isn't even funny. I'll be real quick. When you look at our current president, he was what do you want to call it, one of them hosts of a show, and he was patting him on the back when he was always saying this phrase, "You fired." And that wasn't such a hip thing, in my opinion. Take care.
Okay. Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Can I want to just comment to that.
Yes.
You know, I totally agree with you, and that's one of the biggest concerns that Mr. Wright and I, we're faced with when we go into some of the schools. You know, because it's not a part of their core curriculum, it's passed over. No one even acknowledged the importance of manners and morals, and it's unfortunate. I'm going to leave my conversation on a positive note, believing that it can happen.
Amen.
We can change that whole mentality and that whole mindset about rewarding and influencing manners and morals and the concept of etiquette. I believe it can happen.
We're optimists on this side of the spectrum. We at the Etiquette Foundation in Illinois are perhaps the most optimists that you probably ever hear from directly about this grand subject, this foundational value system that we have in this great nation. It is still a great nation. We're not going to let a few people destroy it.
Absolutely not.
So we're pushing to get this back into the schools in a real serious way because, just like you said, madam, the teachers are very frustrated. The teachers are going through
Rightfully
some things.
so.
You know, they have classroom issues. They have to try to be a parent to the students and teach a subject at the same time. And the data says most teachers burn out in about 5 years. In about 5 years, that optimism, that enthusiasm that they had once they finished their education was finally in the classroom, and they had these wonderful children before them. And 5 years down the road, they're ready to throw their hat in and give it up. And that's because they're so controlled. The politics of our educational system
Absolutely.
doesn't, we had wonderful teachers back in our day, and they were creative and allowed to be creative.
Yes.
And how they wanted to teach their class. And you remember those great teachers.
Yes.
They don't have that freedom anymore today.
Yes.
They do not have that kind of freedom, and they have a strict curriculum that they have to adhere to. The coursework is all strictly designed and
The
controlled.
classroom numbers are greater now than ever before.
Ever before.
You can walk into a classroom and there's 25 to 27
30,
students in a classroom. That to me is just, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever. And there's no communication with the school and the parent in terms of what they are requiring the parent to do to get their child prepared to come to school, especially on the behavior side. Okay, and that's a big gap in why teachers are so frustrated and find the profession to be such a difficult profession today. It used to be a wonderful profession.
Exactly.
You were proud to be a teacher. People admired you, but today...
And every successful person that exists was taught by a teacher.
Yes.
Every successful person, every leader of this country sat in the presence of a teacher.
Yes.
They're underpaid and they work extremely difficult trying to make a difference and to educate our kids.
Yes.
That's a subject we should come back to, Mr. Wright. I think we have a minute left.
We will take that subject up and see what we can do to help those teachers out, because as you well know, when you were over at Kenwood Academy, the teachers loved the program, and they were very excited about it. And we've done programs for them before, and the teachers really appreciated having a well-disciplined classroom to teach.
Yes.
Most teachers don't have that handed to them on a platter. Those kids were so well-disciplined. And it's fun to teach when you have a well-disciplined classroom, very respectful, very mannerable children. But they have to be taught how to behave in the classroom and respect the teacher. And so that's what our program taught them. And it's a wonderful experience to have a classroom of young people that you can teach, whatever that subject may be. I don't know how close we are to wrapping this all up.
Yeah, I think we have about 1 minute or
about
something.
1 minute? Well, okay. Yes. Well, I will do the honors, I guess, on this occasion. and say thank you so much for watching us here on CAN TV, Let's Talk Etiquette. Please join us again next Wednesday for another awesome topic that I'm certain you will appreciate. And we're going to do our very best to bring you the best when it comes to etiquette. With that said, I'll allow you to close it out.
I think you've said it all.
Well, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and
Absolutely.
we'll see you on next Wednesday.